In this simulation, we will explore the alkanes family. Most of the hydrocarbon molecules in crude oil belong to a family of compounds which is called alkanes. The simplest alkane, which means the smallest alkane, is methane, and its molecular formula is CH4. So we have only one carbon atom which is bonded to 4 hydrogen atoms. This gas, methane gas, is the fuel that's piped into millions of homes for cooking and heating. Let's examine the bonding in a methane molecule. So as the molecular formula indicates, we have one carbon atom and 4 hydrogen atoms. There are 4 electrons in carbon's outer shell, so the number of valence electrons of carbon is 4, and this means that it needs another 4 electrons to fill this shell. So this is the carbon atom with 4 valence electrons. On the other hand, hydrogen, H, has only one valence electron, which is its single electron, so it needs only one electron to fill this shell. Let's examine now how carbon and hydrogen will react together. So the carbon atom will form 4 bonds with 4 hydrogen atoms, 1 bond with each hydrogen atom. A covalent bond is a share of 2 electrons, so these are the 2 electrons that are shared between the carbon and each of the hydrogen atoms. So the carbon atom forms covalent bonds with 4 hydrogen atoms to produce methane, CH4. This gives the carbon atom and each of the hydrogen atoms a full outer shell. So now carbon has 8 outer electrons and hydrogen has 2 outer electrons. So this is an illustration of the bonding in methane. Let's now examine the structures of the first 5 members of the alkanes. This is methane, CH4. The next alkane has 2 carbon atoms and it's ethane, C2H6. So we have 2 carbon atoms which are bonded to 6 hydrogen atoms. The third alkane has 1 more carbon atom and it's a propane, C3H8. So we have 3 carbon atoms and 8 hydrogen atoms. And of course, all the bonds between the carbon atoms are single covalent bonds, and all the bonds between carbon and hydrogen are single covalent bonds as well. The fourth alkane is butane, C4H10, and the fifth alkane is pentane, C5H12. So these are the first 5 alkanes: methane, ethane, propane, butane, and pentane. Because all the bonds are covalent bonds, alkanes are called saturated hydrocarbons, as each carbon atom is bonded with 4 other atoms and thus cannot bond to any more atoms. Let's examine the difference between each member of the family of alkanes. We will start with methane. We have 1 carbon atom and 4 hydrogen atoms. In ethane, we have 2 carbon atoms and 6 hydrogen atoms. So the difference between methane and ethane is a CH2 group. If we examine propane, we will find that the difference between ethane and propane is again one CH2 group, and the difference between propane and butane is a CH2 group, and also between butane and pentane it's another CH2 group. So we will have an additional CH2 group between members of the family of alkanes. Select the correct general formula of the alkanes where N is any number. Is it CnH2n-2, CnH2n, C2NHN, or CnH2n plus 2? Which one of these is correct? Excellent. This is the correct general formula of any alkane. So, when you are given the number of carbon atoms, you can find the molecular formula of this alkane by applying this general formula.